I'm a bot, yeah, I'm a bot. I'm a Russian bot, yeah, I'm a bot. I'm a bot, yeah, I'm a bot. I'm a Russian bot, yeah, I'm a bot. I'm a bot, yeah, I'm a bot. I'm a Russian bot, yeah, I'm a bot. I'm a bot, yeah, I'm a bot. Bleep, bloop, blop, yeah, I'm a Russian bot. I'm a Russian bot, I get it all the time. I meddle in elections when connected in a line. Set up an intersection between your Facebook page and mine. Show you an ad now, I control your mind. I'm a Russian bot, I'm a Russian bot. My prime directive is affecting your democracy. Crappy, if you ask me. All your PAC funded man can take a back seat. Cause I'm a Russian bot, I spent a couple $100,000. And we can pick the man for president, damn. You got a PAC who would donate a couple mil, but that ain't as effective as a Russian bot still. I'm a bot, yeah, I'm a bot. I'm a Russian bot, yeah, I'm a bot. I'm a bot, yeah, I'm a Russian bot. I'm a bot, yeah, bot, bot, bot. What you thought, man? I'm a Russian.
What's going on, everyone? Thank you for watching. Really appreciate it, everyone. Today we are doing, I know there's a lot of breaking news going on, but I want to do a show about the moon. And of course we got Ken here from MUFON. How are you doing today, Ken? You doing all right?
Doing better than I was yesterday.
Oh yeah, me too. Me too, for sure. I was feeling a little sick yesterday as well. After I got home from work and when I woke up, I didn't feel good at all. But yes, we're going to be talking about the moon. Is it ours or theirs, or what's going on, you know? And so, before we get into that, this channel is brought to you by you guys. If you want to become a Patreon, the link is in the description. Go to patreon.com/informativeinfo, or if you just want to donate once, go to informativeinfo.com. Really appreciate everybody, all my Patreons and all that awesomeness that goes on over there. And of course, let's thank everybody that's watching right now. We got Heart of Texas, we got David X, we got Adeline Marie Robinson, we got Jim, we got Silent Listen, we got Angela Wagner, we got Patricia Ann, we got Janelle Welch, Shauna Rainfall, we got Matt Street, who else we got? Do we got anybody else? On Periscope, just me, V, says hello on Periscope. Thank you for watching, really appreciate it. You're awesome. And so, today, we're going to be talking about the moon. Is it ours or theirs? But before we get into that, you know about, like, the moon. We're having, like, a lunar eclipse on the 4th, right?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, apparently we're having two events. First one, and it's so crazy that they both coincide. The first one is that the moon's going to be the brightest ever on the 4th, or like almost midnight on the 4th. And then we're going to have a lunar eclipse right after that. Like same day, like hours apart or maybe minutes. I don't know how far apart it is. Didn't look too much into it. but it seems pretty awesome, for sure. Um, and so, speaking of the moon, is it ours or theirs? What do you think? And also,
Me?
this is Ken. This is Ken Jordan. Forgot to introduce you. Ken Jordan from MUFON. Go ahead and introduce yourself, so people that. Because we got a lot of new viewers, and people don't know. And then all our past videos are deleted from the hacker. So, yeah.
Well, I'm Ken Jordan. I'm in San Antonio, same place where Jared's at. And I'm currently the state director for MUFON for Texas. I have a group of very talented field investigators that go out and investigate UFO sightings, and then they report their findings to the general public. And we're always looking for more field investigators. If anybody's interested, I'm always looking. I am still active with the San Antonio chapter, but I have handed that off to Stephen Edwards, who's doing a great job with it. So right now I just get to do fun things like talk to Jared on his channel, stuff like that.
That's pretty, and that's epic for sure. I mean, that's very awesome. My channel, no, it's not that big of a deal, but it's fun. It's fun. I like doing this. Also, Jason Kendall and Ken Zygenfuss. Thank you for watching. Appreciate it. David X says that the moon is ours now. So he's implying that it wasn't ours at some point. What do you think, Ken?
Well, that's kind of what we're going to talk about. If you recall, when was it? About 6 months ago or something, had the opportunity to do your show, and we got into questions, and somebody asked a question about what was the deal with the moon. And they had a theory, or they thought that the moon was actually a spaceship that was sent here and placed like 1 million years ago by somebody else.
Yeah.
And I said, well, as far as I know, it's just a big dead rock in the sky. Well, it got me to doing some research work,
No problem.
started doing some research work on it, and started checking with some pretty prominent investigators who've been looking at the subject for a heck of a lot longer than I have. And I might be changing my mind a little bit. So what some of the information I found out that goes back to the Apollo days, really kind of intriguing. So we got that. And before I forget about it, I'm glad we're doing the show today on your channel, because today is International UFO Day.
Yes, it is. It's International UFO Day. And if
you don't know what that is, that's the day that we take to celebrate the UFO phenomenon, and with some emphasis on trying to get the governments of the world to, disclose what they know about it and open up the technologies for development. So apparently that's what UFO Day is. But for me, UFO Day is every day. It seems like it's every day there's something going on with that phenomenon.
Have there been a lot of sightings recently?
We've had a lot of sightings, but I think we're having a lot of sightings because everybody's locked up and they don't have anything else to do but go outside and look in the sky, and they're starting to see things. Because I guarantee you, if you look up in the sky long enough and often enough, you're going to see all kinds of strangeness. So we're getting a lot of reports right now.
I cannot wait to get a backyard so I can do that.
And one thing that I wanted to put out before we start talking about the moon, we talked about the Starlink satellite system that SpaceX is putting up for communications. Well, tonight, towards the end of your show, starting about 9:47, 9:48, if you're in Central Texas, San Antonio area, if you can go outside, look straight up from the southeast to the northwest, you can see about 60 of those things flying straight over our head. And that's if the African dust goes away. So that can be quite spectacular. And in fact, let me show you this and see if I can make my screen share work.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Time. See if I can share my screen. Can you enable screen sharing real quick?
It's not enabled. Oh man, these new settings on Zoom is just
I know. I think that's
crazy.
mine's messed up.
Let me see. Mhm. Sorry, guys. That is really weird. Huh.
Yeah, because I can't get mine into different views, so I don't know if my screen share is going to work.
I'll
Now,
try it.
okay. So by chance, can you see that?
Yes, I can.
How about that? Miracles happen every day.
That's right. That is
Screen share
right.
off of the software that I use to track satellites for investigative work. But you can see coming right through here, this is all those Starlink satellites. This is San Antonio, and down here is it's the southwest, northwest, and that's going to be about 80 degrees above our heads. So if we can get out and see those, it's only going to last about 7 or 8 minutes. So it should be spectacular if we can see.
That's
So
good. That's cool. I can't. I didn't even know that until we were talking a little bit earlier. I was like, I'm. Hopefully, I'll be able to see it. Maybe I'll go smoke a cigarette outside real fast, and you know,
well, I went out
check it
there
out.
and the sky is still dusty. So I don't know how well it's going to work out for tonight.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Anyway, I was talking about 6 months ago. We were doing your show, and one of your callers called in and asked me about the moon, and so I've been researching his comments or hers ever since then, and I came up with some pretty interesting statistics about what's going on with our moon.
Mhm.
Our romantic moon that we like to write all kinds of love songs about.
Yeah.
So, with your permission, let me just fall into this real quick.
Absolutely.
Uh, if I can do this screen share thing again. And let's see. All right, you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm actually preparing this also for one of our meetings, so it's not quite finished, but I think there's enough here for us to play with.
Gotcha.
Okay. And like I told you, what I'm going to be talking about is the moon ours or theirs. When I say theirs, I'm talking about the extraterrestrial. And I found this graphics in one of the books that was my primary source. I'm going to talk about that here in just a moment. Most of the information that I'm going to be talking about tonight, not all, but most of it, is coming from the Blue Planet Project series of books. This one's book number 17. Gil Carson is a really an interesting researcher. Uh, he he goes out and he finds work that other people did, and then he compiles them into a book format, so we can see what other people have researched and written on any given topic. And this one was on the moon, um, and the book is called "Aliens on the Moon" by Carlson. So that's where most of this came from.
Gotcha. Gotcha. That's a
Now here's
crazy picture.
the moon goes the this moon phenomenon goes back, started getting everybody's attention. Really, it was in the '60s with the space program, culminating with I think it was Apollo 11, where Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin were the first ones to touch down and step onto the moon. And here's a graphic that I made. Yeah, it was Apollo 11, and it was on July the 20th, 1969. And of course, he jumped out and he made the famous statement, "One giant leap for
For man.
man, one
One
step
step for man. I
for
think.
giant for mankind."
Yeah.
And so we we assumed, I did, they were the first humans to put their foot on the moon. But you all know, I firmly believe that we're already on the moon. We've been on the moon even before Aldrin and Armstrong got there, and that was just the first of it that got me interested in this whole topic about, is the moon ours, or is it theirs? Is it occupied or not occupied? And it turns out that I think that whoever opinion is that it's ours for right now, well, I don't think it's ours. And I'm going to tell you why here throughout
All
this
right.
present. Here's one of the interesting things. This is Crater 308. I don't know yet where Crater 308 is, especially in relation to the Sea of Tranquility where they landed in '69. But if you look here in the middle of this thing, there is a very unusual looking structure in the middle of this crater. So,
Absolutely.
anyway, some of the things that caught our attention, especially with the Apollo program, was some of the communications that was captured between the astronauts and ground command. This one right here was Apollo 11 when we first stepped on the moon, and
Oh, I think you.
I heard about this back.
I think you
Several.
went back instead of forward.
Did I? No. This is my next one.
Oh,
Can you
okay.
see?
All right. I was just wondering.
Yeah.
I was like, that's from Apollo 11, an alien in the space.
One of the first things that happened, and now a lot of this came out because NASA declassified a lot of their information and it got out in the public. And one of the things that they found out was Buzz Aldrin. He was the first one to open up the hatch on the lander. And when he opened up the hatch, according to him and some records that we have, he said that when he opened the door, there was an alien outside looking at him. And this is a caption of kind of what he was talking about. So
Okay.
he opened the door, and this alien was looking at him. That's the first thing that freaked him out. So anyway, Armstrong goes down the ladders, steps on the moon, makes his historic statement. And as they're setting up the flag and starting to do their experiments, he looks over on the other side of the crater and switches off the public channel and goes to the emergency medical channel. And he hollers this to Houston Command. He says, "Oh my God, you won't believe this. These babies are huge, sir. They're enormous. I tell you, there are other spacecraft out there lined up on the far side of the crater's edge. They're on the moon watching us." And Mission Control comes back. "What's there? What's there?" So
Holy
that
cow.
was the first thing. That was in the first hour after we landed. And I can tell you that back in 2017 at our symposium, at that time was in Las Vegas, um, one of our speakers was a gentleman who has now passed, who worked with the secret space program. He worked with Armstrong and Aldrin and actually did some drawings of the ships that they described that were on the edge of the crater. I don't have those yet in my presentation, but apparently they were fairly large. And they weren't saucers, they were, spaceships.
Were they like kind of submarine shape?
No, they look more like something that would come from Captain America show or something like that.
Oh, okay, from like a
Very
ship.
modern looking.
Gotcha, gotcha.
So anyway, they continued to do their thing. Now they were up there for like 127 hours. They spent a lot of time in the capsule before they came out. They went out and did their thing on the moon, went back up, and they took a sleep. And then they got up and they finished some of their tasks. And one of the last things they had to do was put out these reflective mirrors, and they still use those today. Astronomers can take and shoot a laser at the Sea of Tranquility, and they can measure exactly the distance from one instrument to the other. And in this research, I found out since 1969, the moon is falling closer and closer to the Earth on an average of 3 centimeters a year. That's that much.
Yeah,
It's kind of hard to believe, but that's what they say.
gotcha.
So anyway, while they were setting out these mirrors, and these allergies have really got me hoarse. So before the show, I transcribed this narrative to computer generated because I'll lose my voice. So I'm going to let you listen to this, and this is a radio transmission between the astronauts and ground control. Hope you can make something out of it, and I hope I can get it to open. It was really kind of interesting what they had to say.
Gotcha. It sounds interesting for sure. I don't think I've heard that before.
Well, I'm not coming through here. Let me
Astronauts Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin speaking from the
let me do this. I'm going to put it on my speaker.
Those are giant things.
Okay, I'm going to start it back just a little bit.
No, this is
Okay. Yeah, we can. I could hear it good.
Okay, here we go.
astronauts Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin speaking from the moon. Astronauts. Those are giant things. No, this is not an optical illusion.
Now, let me remind you, this was a good 24 hours later after they did their rest and they got up and started doing their final projects.
No one is going to believe this. Mission Control, Houston Center. What the hell is happening? What is wrong with you? Astronauts. They're here under the surface. Mission Control. What's there? Astronauts. We saw some visitors. They were there for a while, observing the instruments. Mission Control. Repeat your last information. Astronauts. I say that there were other spaceships. They're lined up on the other side of the crater. Mission Control. Repeat. Astronauts. Let us sound this orbita. In 625 to 5, automatic relay connected. My hands are shaking so badly I can't do anything. Film it. God, if these dimmed cameras have picked up anything, what then? Mission Control. Have you picked up anything? Astronauts. I didn't have any film at hand. 3 shots of the saucers or whatever they were that were ruining the film. Mission Control. Control here. Are you on your way? Is the uproar with the UFO over? Astronauts. They've landed there. There they are. And they are watching us. Mission Control. The mirrors, have you set them up? Astronauts. Yes, they're in the right place. But whoever made those spaceships surely can come tomorrow and remove them. Over and out.
So anyway, if you caught some of that stuff, this was towards the end of the mission. They're getting ready to get back in the lunar lander and get back up and get hooked up and head back home. That particular audio was provided by Chris Kraft. I always liked his name, Chris Kraft, like the boat. But he was a mission director for the Apollo program. So that's where we got those from. So if you picked up on some of those things, one, Aldrin said they were definitely saucers, not the other ship they saw the previous day. These guys came down and was messing around with their equipment that was they had set out. They were, looking at it, checking it out, and then they went back up and sat on the edge of the crater and just watched them. So,
I wonder if they're wearing suits or whatever. That's crazy.
I wish we had more information about what they looked like. They weren't the typical grays that we usually hear about, but they were that type of a body shape, from what I understand. So anyway, I'm going to get down to the part where I think we don't own the moon. It's not ours.
Gotcha.
But before we go that far, I want to talk about where the moon came from, how it got here, and all that kind of stuff. Well, there's been two major theories that I grew up with, and most of us grew up with in school, and one was called the Big Whack theory, and that theory was that back in when the Earth was in its embryonic stage and still in a molten mass, that it got hit by an extremely large object like another planet or an asteroid or something, and caused it to pinch off a little bit of it, and the moon pinched off and went out, and of course they started rotating around each other and solidified into to the what we have today. So that was probably the most popular theory. The other theory was that, and that was one theory. Let's see, and the big whack was that it got hit by an asteroid and just broke it off, sheared it right off, and it formed the moon. The second theory was the one I thought made more sense when it formed like a dumbbell, and then the moon just popped off of it and solidified, and and made the moon as we know it today. Now that theory came from Charles Darwin's son, George Darwin. So that that's been around since the mid 1800s. So that's two theories about where the moon came from. Well, if you recall, the person that called into your show at that time, his thought was and his belief was that the moon was an artificial, giant artificial ship that was brought here from some other location and placed at a specific orbit around Earth about a million years ago. Well, it turns out there's a lot of other people that think the same thing.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds like a good one.
And here's something that is extremely interesting, and you can take this for what it's worth. Um, we're going to talk about the moon rocks and the moon dust. And everybody knows that they brought back lots of rocks from the moon, starting with the first landing all the way up to Apollo 20, which we don't know a whole lot about.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
they can analyze those rocks in somewhat like carbon dating that you can do with organic stuff like trees and bones. You can actually break down the isotopes in minerals like rocks and dirt and somehow date the age of the isotopes. Well, that's what they did back in the early 70s. So by 1972, we actually had data on the rocks and the dust that they brought back from the moon.
Wow.
So here's one thing that they found out that they have not told us. Now this this was reported in Harvard's Sky and Telescope journal, which is uh, their astronomy journal, and it was brought out at the lunar conference in 1973. Here's what they didn't tell us that in 1972, 1973, the moon rocks are over a billion years older than our Earth. So
Wow.
that negates both of those theories that I just talked to you about, the big whack and the pinch off theory.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
the rocks were a million years older than the Earth, and the dust that the rocks sit on were a billion years older than the rocks.
Holy cow.
Yeah, now that doesn't blow your mind. Let's say it even is close to being true, where the rocks and the dust have two different dates. One of the, and I invite people to get their hands on this book and read these details because I'm kind of glossing over a bunch of it. But if the theory is right that it was an artificial object, the moon's an artificial object. Um, if it was roaming around in deep space for millions and millions of years, it would make sense that it collected solar dust or cosmic dust on its surface, and then at some later time, uh, people started digging out the interior of this thing and depositing those rocks onto the surface. So
Huh.
that could be why there was a difference in the age.
That's actually makes sense. For sure.
Here's another one I don't think I can read with my allergies. So I'm gonna see if I can get this computer to read this one to you. See if it works. Well, that's supposed to happen.
You want me to read it?
I'll do it. I think I can make this work.
To the horror of some scientists, there are many indications that the moon is hollow. The moon's mean density, About 3.34 grams per cubic centimeter is significantly less than the 5.5 gram density of the Earth's mantle. This density indicates that the moon may not have a core. The most startling evidence came on November 20th, 1969, when the Apollo 12 crew, after returning to their command ship, sent the lunar module ascent stage crashing down back onto the moon, creating an artificial earthquake. The crash site was 40 miles from where the astronauts had left their seismic devices. The ultra-sensitive equipment recorded the moon ringing like a bell for almost 40 minutes. The vibration took almost 8 minutes to reach a peak and then diminished in intensity. This ringing was repeated when the Apollo 13's upper stage fell to the lunar surface, striking with the equivalent of 11 tons of TNT. According to NASA, this time the moon reacted like a gong.
It reacted like a gong.
Wow.
Does that mean it's hollow? No, not necessarily, but it does mean that
Maybe some parts, possibly.
It has large open spaces in the interior.
Yes. Oh.
We know that we've got pictures from things that were placed on the moon, especially on the backside. We've had those pictures for a long time. Here's a picture that was recently released, and I'm just going to show you. This is the one they call the bridge. This was actually taken by an astronomer on the planet with his telescope back in 1953. The government got hold of it and snagged it. We never saw it until recently.
Oh, wow.
This, according to him, and apparently this was also confirmed by a British astronomer, Patrick Moore, that they said that they observed this section of the moon, and then like the next day, this bridge was there. It's like it was built overnight.
Holy cow. That's really fast. That's a long bridge.
And
how long do you think that is?
I tried to find out, but I don't have any idea. Don't have any way of seeing how far these things are apart. But I would imagine it's at least a mile or two.
Wow. Overnight.
Yeah, overnight. Here's another thing that we recently found out in 2007. We've known since the early 60s, actually. Were some videos that William Rutledge put out. And if you see this right here, they thought this was a foreign craft of some type. This thing is huge.
Yeah, it looks big.
2 miles long. And here it is down here enhanced. To me, that looks artificial as hell.
Yes. It looks like a cigar,
yeah,
or a joint or something like that. You know.
Yeah, it looks like somebody threw down an old stogie there, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So anyway, we are finding these things out. These are some new things. So that means somebody's been up there, apparently for a very long time. And we're going to get to the point about who owns the moon. Well, I'm going to see if I can get these to read.
Okay, no problem. Chef Matt, thank you for watching. He says he can't hear, but I don't think anybody else is complaining.
Hope they can hear.
Your moon is an artificial construct that was created to be a special tactical station attached to Orion Empire fleets of the former Ankara Alliance.
Okay. I don't know if you can see it on here, but this is a message from...
the Galactic Federation?
Yeah, the Galactic Federation, which apparently is still a viable organization in this part of the universe. And this is some messages that extracts from a fairly long message that was in this book that I thought would be of interest. So first of all, they're saying that the moon was an artificial construct.
It formed part of the fleet that conquered your solar system about 1 million years ago. This moon was used until very recently by the Anunnaki and their Ankara Alliance allies as an orbiting base to observe and control what was happening on the surface of Mother Earth. The moon was now disguised as a lifeless orbiting body, but underneath her surface, the interior base had been completely modernized and organized as a mothership controlling a large, hidden fleet within.
Okay, that the Federation is telling us through their spokesman, the moon's artificial.
Yeah.
It was created by the Anunnaki. And there is a big expose in the book that talks about this topic, that the moon is like a clearing station for all the alien civilizations coming through this part of the cosmos. They check in there. It's like Federal Aviation Administration for space. Plus, that's where the aliens set up to observe the Earth.
Yeah. And I'm sure if we can see, with our telescopes, they probably have like a million times stronger, and they could just see our houses and stuff from there.
And here's some more of it.
That transmission appeared to be a mysterious and clearly spoken message in what is claimed to be an alien language. Here are the 8 separate words: Mara, Rabbi, Alerty, Dini, Endeavor, ESA, Counts, Alim.
Now, I'm not sure exactly where they got the translator for this, but apparently it was connected to an old Sumerian language, which the Anunnaki was famous for. And the translator said, what that means is, get the hell out of here, Earthlings.
How the hell? Is that why we were trying to get the heck out of here? Everybody wants to go to Mars?
Yeah. So that tells me that we didn't own the planet. Aldrin also told us, he said, we were told to leave the moon, not come back. And here we are getting ready to go up there again. We're going to have to fight through this thing all over again.
Well, hopefully we have better cameras this time, for sure.
Yeah, unless we've made a deal with whoever owns the area that we want to go to, that we can go there again.
Yeah,
But the book really spelled out a lot of really interesting things. And Gil said right up front, he said, listen, I'm just going to report to you my findings and what other people are writing about. You can make your own decision. He said right up in front, he said, you find some of these things kind of far-fetched and hard to believe. But when you take the evidence that the moon rocks were older than Earth, and the moon rocks were older than the dust that they're setting on, man, that's something for you to really contemplate about.
Yeah, that's for sure.
The moon is put in such a perfect position that when we have a total eclipse, it totally covers the aura of the sun. That's the only moon that we know of in this part of the cosmos that does that. And on top of that, everybody knows the Earth goes around the sun in somewhat of an elliptical pattern, right? All the planets do. The moon, on the other hand, is a perfect circle around the Earth. It's a perfectly circular orbit. And I was wrong, because at one time I thought the moon rotated at the same rotation as the Earth. That's why we always saw the same side. Well, I was all screwed up on that. It is absolutely dead in the water. It does not rotate. One side is always facing the Earth 24/7. So we don't know what's on the backside. We can't see what's on the backside.
And what reminded me of when you said that the moon is getting this much closer every year?
Mm-hmm.
What is that planet that's supposed to like collide with our? Is it Nibiru or something like that?
Nibiru is supposed to already come and gone. I didn't see anything of it.
But that's the only thing that kind of resembles that. It's the only thing that's getting closer is the moon. I mean, it's not gonna happen now. Maybe in like 1 billion years. I don't know how many years. I don't know if anybody's done the math. If it moves this much, when will it?
The governments are really good at keeping secrets, and if Nibiru really was out there and we saw it was coming towards us and it was a threat that we couldn't do anything about, they could keep it quiet. They could keep it quiet from the whole planet if they wanted to. They're that good at keeping secrets.
Absolutely. Until it's too late.
Yeah.
Yeah. It sucks, but that's it's very interesting though that they that translation. Get the hell out of here, Earthlings. That's
Well, it made sense with what Aldrin told us years ago. That the reason why we never went back because the aliens didn't want us back. It wasn't ours.
Yeah.
And we're disrupting their mining operations and all kinds of stuff. But I also have come to believe a long time ago that we do in fact have a base on the moon that we share with other species, and so we've been there for a while. We were on the moon when Aldrin and when Apollo 11 landed. So that's white NASA.
Yeah, that was the Nazis, right? Apparently, they had a
That's
base
one
or something like
thing
that.
that Nazis had developed anti-gravity craft back in the late 30s, got it perfected by the mid 40s, but they never could weaponize them. Couldn't get them to function as a machine of war. But they did fly, and apparently some of them escaped to both Antarctica and to the moon, where they set up a base. When they got there, apparently they were kind of getting their butt kicked because they landed on a piece of the moon that didn't belong to them. And apparently the reptilians had to cut a deal with somebody to give them some space. So apparently that's where we are still to this day.
Oh damn, we just can't get rid of these damn Nazis. They just keep surviving, son of a bitch. You know, maybe one day we'll finally get rid of them.
I hope so.
Let's see what else is there. If you guys have any questions, let us know.
I should have generated enough information to ask them to generate a bunch of questions with all that. That's some pretty heavy information.
Yeah, exactly. And we're not going to be on much longer because we got to see the Starlink satellites, and it should be.
Let me go out and do a check and see if we're even going to be able to see them. We still got so much of that African dust in the air. It may not be.
I thought it was like Saudi Arabia or something, but yeah. Go ahead. Let's see here. We got who's watching right now. Let me take a look-see real fast. And Ken is an alien, as you can see. He disappears.
In fact, the sky is clear, so there is a good chance that these things will be seen. So, if any of your people are here in Central Texas or San Antonio or watching this, we're going to go out and look.
Is Texas the only? Well, Central Texas the only place you can actually see it? Can you see it like if you're in California?
No. It goes around the planet, and
well, as far as like right now, pretty much.
Right now, yeah. I wish I had that one. I don't have another one. I have another graphic that shows you the satellites going over the world, over the planet, just not San Antonio.
Gotcha.
They shift up and down from different directions, different times of the day. But this is the first time in a long time we've had this many coming over San Antonio when it's dark enough to maybe see them.
Gotcha. And then one thing I wanted to show all you guys, which is, well, a picture which I showed you before. If you watch this show a lot, Just Me V though says on Periscope, they're about 5 hours away from Area 51. Pretty nice. Sorry, COVID-19. Yeah. Take a look at this, all right? Now, I've showed this picture before, and this is an official NASA picture. It's on nasa.gov / I forgot what. I downloaded it, and so I want to show you. Share screen. Bada bing, bada boom. All right, so this is a picture of NASA. All right, guys. And I don't know if you guys can actually see it, but, there's a whole bunch of non-suspicious stuff. But if you look in plain sight, he has a gap tooth. No, I'm just playing. You look... Sorry, I had to do that. Look at this. Is that the moon? Is that a base on the moon? What is that? It's a square, but the edges are rounded out. Looks like a stadium, or maybe it looks like a dome, like a kind of like a football stadium thing, but enclosed, and they're using that as a base. I don't know, but you guys can find this picture on nasa.gov/something. I forgot what. And my computer's buzzing out right now. It's crazy. But yeah, take a look. I mean, it's right in plain sight. You go in, gap tooth, then just scroll right in there, and you can see it.
Yeah, I call that a quadrangle, and I'm actually familiar with that. That thing is about 600 feet on each side, and it's got a row of buildings inside the outer walls, and then buildings inside that, like the quadrangle at Fort Sam, very much like that.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's very interesting. I'm like, what the heck is that? I remember seeing that, and I was like, that's crazy. Shauna says, send the Nazis to Pluto. Yes. Well, we're going to get out of here, guys. Don't forget, if you like the show, don't forget to become Patreon. Patreon.com/informativeinfo. Links in the description, or just donate at informativeinfo.com. I'm going to go try to look at these satellites and take a look. You guys be safe. Any last words?
Looking at the update right now, and it looks like the first one's going to be coming over from the southwest to the northeast in about 4 minutes.
All right, yeah. So that's not even a lot of time to put your shoes on. So
And from this, it looks like there's going to be 2 trains merged together, probably about 60 or 70 satellites.
dang, that's gonna be awesome. All right, guys.
Okay.
Well,
Video, you all out there that get a chance to see it, take a video with your camera and send that in to Jared so we can share that with everybody.
yeah, absolutely. All right, guys. You be safe. We'll see you tomorrow, 8 p.m. Central Time. We will talk to you later. Peace, guys, and appreciate everyone watching. Also, Dilly's Daily Dose got scrubbed by YouTube. It was taken down due to copyright, but usually the copyright owner wanted to take the video down instead of just claiming the money, which I get no money anyway. But all right, guys, we'll talk to you later. See you tomorrow.